Everyone knows about Queen Camilla's legendary ring, a 5-carat emerald-cut diamond once owned by the Queen Mother, valued at $275,000. Second most valuable in the royal family after the Princess of Wales's famous sapphire worth $390,000. But few know about another secret hidden deep within the royal vaults. Friends, support us with a subscription and like. We're working hard, but time is running short and each of you matters to us. Don't forget to write your city. We'd love to know where our support comes from. In recent years, Camilla has done something extraordinary. She's brought back to life brooches the world hasn't seen in decades. Some vanished over half a century ago. Jewels of Queen Alexandra, Queen Mary, Elizabeth II herself, all silent in obscurity until they reappeared on the new Queen's lapels. What lies behind these returns? Why now? And what secrets do these treasures hold? Picture this. 1893, a wedding gift from the Rothschilds themselves to Queen Mary. A diamond brooch watch shaped like the York rose, a masterpiece of jewelry craft embodying luxury and power. And then silence, nearly a century of it. The world last saw this brooch in 1936 on the Queen Mother. After that, nothing. Not Queen Elizabeth, not Princess Margaret, not even Princess Anne ever wore it. For 9 decades, the treasure rested in storage as if waiting for its moment. Then, the 5th day of Royal Ascot 2025. Camilla appears before the public and on her chest shines that very piece. The world froze in amazement. The brooch's upper section, 3 loops of a diamond bow with a central stone from which hangs a short chain. On it, a floral pendant entirely covered in diamonds. And at the very heart of this magnificence hides an elegant mechanism, tiny watchworks concealed among the precious stones. Many dreamed of seeing this brooch on Princess Diana had fate turned differently, but history had its own plans. Of 44 jewels passed from Queen Mary to the Queen Mother, this one stayed in shadow longest. Its return became a true sensation. But this is just the beginning of the story about forgotten treasures. 60 years of silence, 60 years while the world wondered, where did the diamond thistle brooch disappear, the one so beloved by the Queen Mother? Why did Elizabeth II never wear it? Was it too personal, too dear to her heart to show the world? During wartime, the Queen Mother wore this brooch with special pride. 2 diamond thistles, symbols of Scotland, intertwined in elegant scrolls, simultaneously delicate and bold. Then it vanished. Even the most devoted experts on royal jewels believed it lost forever. And suddenly, 2015, New Zealand. Camilla, then Duchess of Cornwall, steps before the public. On her dress shines that very brooch everyone thought lost to history. The world gasped, how's this possible? The brooch's origin is shrouded in mystery. Perhaps it's an ancient royal relic. Or maybe it was specially created for the Queen Mother, known for her deep connection to Scotland. First documented appearance, early 1943. Many experts suggest the brooch comes from the legendary collection of Mrs. Ronnie Greville, who passed in 1942 and left her richest collection to the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother wore the brooch pinned to her hat when talking with cooks at the American Red Cross Club in '44. She appeared in it at Princess Elizabeth's 18th birthday. Then came outings with King George VI at the Royal Farm in '46, the Braemar Games in the '50s, and then silence until 2015. 60 years of absolute silence. It's believed Elizabeth II lent the brooch to Camilla, later formally gifting it as a symbol of passing on heritage. But why Camilla specifically? And why after such long obscurity? 1881, a wedding gift for Cecilia Nina Bowes-Lyon, Countess of Strathmore and Kinghorn, great-grandmother of the current king, a yellow diamond cross, so precious to its owner that in her will of 1938, she named it My Yellow Diamond Cross. 3 words behind which stood an entire story of love for this piece. The brooch is crafted as a Georgian cross, glowing with white and yellow stones. presumably a mix of topazes and Strathmore diamonds, stones whose value is measured not just in money, but in the memory of generations. First public appearance, 1927. The Countess at St. Paul's, Walden, buried beside young Princess Elizabeth of York. The brooch flickered at family gatherings, held the warmth of touches, absorbed stories, then dissolved into oblivion. Here's what's striking. Neither the Queen Mother to whom the cross was bequeathed, nor Elizabeth II herself ever wore it in public. Why? Too personal? Too painful a reminder of the past? For decades, the brooch lay silent in storage darkness, its story slowly fading from memory. And then, Christmas service 2023 in Sandringham, a modest Sunday Mass, and suddenly on Queen Camilla's coat, the yellow cross, like a whisper from the past. 142 years after its creation, valued at $53,000, but whose true worth is immeasurable, a glittering thread connecting the king's maternal line through time and obscurity. Mid-1930s. The Art Deco era in full bloom. Elegant design, strict lines, the luxury of restraint. And amid this magnificence, a brooch is born. A clasp studded with diamonds and deep brown topazes radiating warm autumn glow. March 1938. London, Battersea, and Wandsworth districts. The Queen Mother wears the brooch as a pendant during a visit to ordinary residents. She's photographed leaving flats on York Road in the Onslow Plain housing estate with King George VI after meeting tenants. One single outing, one photograph, that's all. Then, emptiness. For long decades, royal jewelry experts were certain the brooch was sold or lost. The Queen Mother never wore it again. Elizabeth II ignored it, Princess Margaret too, as if the piece ceased to exist. But the brooch didn't vanish. It simply slept. Quietly rested in the Queen Mother's storage, likely passing to Elizabeth II after 2002, and the world forgot it completely. Then the incredible happened. June 16, 2007, the monarch's birthday parade at Horse Guards Parade, and there it is, the topaz brooch on her coat, shining after 60 years of obscurity. A dramatic return no one expected. Since then, the brooch appeared repeatedly. Royal Tour of Canada in November 2009. Together at Christmas service in 2022. Modest valuation, just $6,500. But the real value in history. A jewel of two queen consorts, nearly a century of history. A quiet but powerful revival of heritage. Behind the autumn warmth of topazes lies something greater. A connection across generations that money cannot measure. Like a secret kept too long, the brooch with emeralds and sapphires rested in silence for decades. Its beauty lived in portraits and memories, but not in public. At the piece's very heart shines a diamond, surrounded by soft intertwining petals studded with bright emeralds and sapphires. Created in the form of a layered flower, the brooch evokes images of a jewel blooming in eternal twilight. Though once thought to be a 19th century creation or an 1893 wedding gift, its true origin remains a mystery. Only one thing is known: the piece was already in Queen Mary's collection when she held the title Princess of Wales. Most famous appearance, 1909, the Russian imperial family's visit to Cowes Week on the Isle of Wight. A moment captured by artist Arthur William Debenham, history frozen in paint. Imagine royal yachts in harbor, sea breeze playing with ladies' gowns, and amid all this magnificence, the shine of an emerald-sapphire flower on Queen Mary's chest. A meeting of two empires, two dynasties, preserved not only in diplomatic records, but in the shimmer of precious stones. After Queen Mary's passing in 1953, the brooch passed to her granddaughter, Elizabeth II. And here begins the most mysterious part. Her Majesty wore the piece just once, in 1997 at the Royal Windsor Horse Show. Once in 70 years of reign, debut and farewell simultaneously. After that, the brooch vanished again. Why? What lay behind this decision? Was the piece too precious a memory of her grandmother? Or too bright, too ornate for Elizabeth's restrained style? Experts debated for years. built theories but never found an answer. The brooch stayed silent, as all true secrets do. In 2012, the piece surfaced in Angela Kelly's book Dressing the Queen, the Jubilee Wardrobe, sparking a new wave of curiosity among experts and historians. The Queen's personal dresser lifted the veil slightly, showing a photograph of this marvel, but the brooch remained silent, didn't appear, waited. Nearly 3 decades later, the flower bloomed again. Easter service 2024 at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle, Queen Camilla. And on her outfit, the forgotten treasure returned to life with all its pristine charm. Emeralds and sapphires played in sunlight once more, as if awakening from a century-long sleep. Symbolic that this happened precisely at Easter, a celebration of resurrection and renewal. It caught the light and captured the world's attention. A breathtaking composition, a large, flawlessly cut aquamarine set in an open-work heart of diamonds. From it, on a delicate diamond chain, hangs a second heart, also aquamarine. Gently swaying with each movement, the play of light in the stone's depths creates the effect of a sea wave, frozen in precious metal. Exact origin is shrouded in mystery, but experts are confident. The creator was the legendary house of Fabergé. Around 1904, the flowering period of this jewelry house when each creation was not merely a piece but a work of art. Buckingham Palace confirmed the piece belonged to the late Elizabeth II. But here's the paradox. Throughout her long reign, the brooch almost never appeared publicly. Royal historian and Norwegian jeweler Trond Noren Isaksen suggests something even more intriguing. The brooch is much older, its roots reaching back to Queen Alexandra. Perhaps she commissioned or received the piece around her 60th birthday in 1904. However, not a single image exists of her wearing it, not one photograph. Complete mystery. What was it? Too personal a gift to show the world, or was the piece meant for special, intimate occasions that never reached camera lenses? Queen Alexandra was famous for her love of jewels. Her collection was among Europe's richest. Yet this brooch remained invisible. After Queen Alexandra's passing in 1925, the brooch quietly passed hand to hand from Queen Mary to Elizabeth II in 1953. Decades of invisibility. Decades of silence in the royal vault's depths. 3 generations of queens owned this treasure, but none dared show it to the world. And then, 2024, Commonwealth Day service. King Charles is absent. Camilla steps out alone, and on her chest, for the first time in history, the aquamarine brooch shines publicly. First time in over a century of existence, a moment that transformed historians' understanding of royal jewels. But this wasn't just a fashion choice. Aquamarine, the traditional stone for a 19th wedding anniversary, symbolizing eternal love and devotion, a gentle hint at the Queen's faithfulness during times of change, a personal message in her spouse's absence, or something greater, a statement that she's ready to carry the crown's burden even in the most difficult times. The stone's color, delicate blue with a greenish tint, evokes associations with the sea, with boundlessness, with loyalty that knows no boundaries. The choice of this piece for such a significant event could not be accidental. With its exceptional craftsmanship, provenance, and rarity, valuing this jewel is extremely difficult. Experts cautiously cite a figure around $250,000. But the true value in what Camilla accomplished, she brought to light a treasure that kept silent for a full century, transforming it into a symbol of royal heritage's continuity. A brooch no one ever saw became the loudest statement of a new era. From century-old Fabergé creations to long-lost gifts of love and diplomacy, Queen Camilla's collection quietly reflects the weight of heritage. Each brooch, not merely ornament, it's a bridge between eras, a voice from the past, a thread connecting generations of royal women. What drives her choice? Chance or deep understanding of the symbolism each jewel carries? Camilla doesn't simply wear her predecessors' pieces. She returns them to life, gives forgotten stories new breath, An emerald-sapphire flower blooming in eternal twilight, aquamarine hearts beating in devotion's rhythm, a yellow cross holding family love's warmth. Each of these treasures could have remained in shadow forever, but thanks to the new queen, they shine once more, reminding us true luxury isn't in stone's price, but in the stories they tell.